Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today let's talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League, the long-awaited Snyder Cut. I'm going to split this review into three parts, and I'll probably put a few timestamps in the description if you want to skip ahead to anything. First of all, I'm going to talk about how I approached this movie and how I came into it, and my opinions, a couple of the previous ones. I won't go into that for too long. And then I'm going to talk non-spoiler review if you want to decide whether to watch it based on this, and then I'll talk spoilers if you've already watched the film or if you're not fussed. It's a 4-hour movie. There's no way around it. So I don't think I'll be able to cover absolutely everything in a video that's under 10 minutes, to be quite honest, but I'll do my best to kind of give my overall thoughts on most of it. So yeah, let's get into it. So generally with my thoughts about the DCEU, whatever it's called now, just the ones kind of leading right into this I'll talk about. Man of Steel I was absolutely fine with. I can't remember when that film came out now. Was it 2015 I think? Maybe even earlier than that. I was okay with that. I mean, going back a little bit further, I'm a big fan of the comics. I'm a big Marvel and DC guy and other comics as well, and I'm a big Superman fan, big Batman fan, big Wonder Woman fan. I like all the Justice League characters. They're all things that have been in my life for a long time. So and I was interested to see their take on these characters in the modern films. And like I say, I like Man of Steel. Wasn't great, but I liked it. I like Batman versus Superman. It was just, I like Zack Snyder and how he does, these big grand things. And Batman vs Superman again wasn't perfect, but I really enjoyed it when I watched it because it was just big and over the top, and it ticked the boxes for me. That was absolutely fine. So going into Justice League, I was looking forward to it. I thought, this is going to be another big 2.5 hour long Zack Snyder kind of messy but grand kind of image kind of thing. I mean, I would prefer them to be better in many ways, but I'll take what I can get, and I knew that I'd enjoy it. So when I went to see it, and obviously if you don't know the full story behind this, I won't go into it now, but basically Zack Snyder had to leave the production halfway through because of his daughter dying, and Joss Whedon took over. I won't talk about Joss Whedon too much. And the film, when I saw it, I was just disappointed. Like, I just saw the original cut in the cinema, I should say, in 2017. I just thought it was average at best, and it was just kind of a watered down version of what it was originally going to be, like cut to under 2 hours and some silly Whedon bits in it as well, which we'll go into in a second in the review. And now having seen this, kind of go, yeah, that was absolutely right. It was just kind of a watered down version, just kind of cut a lot of it out and then kind of put it out there as a more palatable, safe under 2 hour film, which just kind of went, I saw it at the cinema and that was my thoughts. And then I watched it again a little bit later, and I was just like, this is what it is. But that's all changed. When it comes to the Snyder Cut, as it's been known, I wasn't really too fussed about it. I've been mildly curious, and I sort of thought, if it comes out, I'll watch it. I wasn't one of these people who was hashtagging it and being like, I want to see this film. But as it's been building up to release, I've been quite looking forward to it because, it's a new thing in this time where we're not really getting that many new things, like movie-wise at least, and not on this scale. And also, I just thought, do you know what? I'm quite interested to see this. So, without further ado, we'll get into the non-spoiler review. That rhymed, unintentional. So, I've got some notes here. So, if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. I'm not just sad. First thing I'll say, I really enjoyed this movie. At times, I loved it. And again, this is non-spoilers, so don't worry, you're safe here. I'll let you know when spoilers are coming. I think if this had been released in cinemas and it was all Zack Snyder's vision, it wouldn't have been 4 hours, obviously. There's no way they'd release a 4-hour theatrical movie. And I don't even think I could have done 4 hours. I mean, I saw Avengers Endgame 3 times and the extended version of that. I saw the extended version Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I've watched The Irishman 3 times, albeit at home, so I'm no stranger to long films. I love a long film, that's fine. I feel like if this had been released, it would have been cut down to about 2.5, probably like Batman vs Superman, I think was around that sort of area. And, that's fine, but I feel like it also would have lost something. I quite like that this is 4 hours long. I had no problem watching this. I would say the first couple of hours, everything kind of felt just a bit more of a stretched out and reordered version of the theatrical one. And by about 2 hours in, it started to click with me a bit more. That's when things really start moving, which sounds ridiculous to say over 2 hours, but we're talking in the scope of a 4-hour film. Normally it's the midpoint of a film into the second act, when things start really kicking off, and it just started to come together in a much more satisfying way, I felt, in the original one, because we spent a bit more time with each character, and things had a bit more explanation, things made a bit more sense, and when things start to get going, it really was a lot more satisfying as an overall story. So that part I really liked. Another thing as to the presentation of the film, which really threw me off at first, was the on the screen. I don't like using film terms because I don't want to be one of those people who use them to make themselves sound clever, but I know it's called an aspect ratio, so I'll call it that. And it's quite narrow, but also tall. Obviously, we're used to widescreen. Seeing my technical hand demonstrations there, like I'm doing a box. So it was a bit more square than what you're used to. If you've seen The Lighthouse, it wasn't far off of that. It might have been the same one. Maybe that was a bit smaller, but yeah, so that took a bit of getting used to. I'm surprised they did that. I've read since that it was because it's framed for IMAX, so when cinemas are a thing again, it can be released in IMAX, which is, it's cool. Again, I don't know if I could do 4 hours in the cinema, but if it's a film I've already seen, if I need to nip out for a bit, I can do. So, don't get me wrong, when cinemas reopen and it's safe to go, I'm going to be there 24 hours a day, no problem. But yeah, so that took a bit of getting used to, but I didn't mind it after a while. You just kind of forget about it. And yeah, like I say, there was a lot less silliness in it because it's not a Joss Whedon film, and the famous scene where Flash and Wonder Woman run into each other and Flash falls over and lands on Wonder Woman's chest, that's not there. And plus that's a whole thing because that wasn't the actual actors, because Gal Gadot apparently just went, no, I'm not doing that, it's degrading, and then they shot it with doubles. So I mean, again, I'm not going to get into Whedon, but there's nothing like that in there. That's all gone, which is nice, because that was a bit goofy and silly, and I don't need that stuff. Every character is kind of treated with more respect, definitely. I'd say Batman's a much more well-rounded character in this. In the theatrical cut, he was just kind of a guy who was there, and this you get a bit more of a sense of his kind of redemption and stuff like that, which is quite good. And say he's the one who brings the team together, sort of thing. But yeah, like I say, the main thing for me that made this better was that everything has more time. Every character has more time. You understand where they're coming from. Like the Flash has a backstory now. And yeah, I can't say any more without getting into kind of spoiler territory, but it is also split into chapters. I think it was 7 chapters and an epilogue, or I think so. 7 is a bit awkward, but they're roughly sort of half an hour each. So if you wanted to watch this in sort of 4 1-hour installments, you probably could. If you wanted to watch it in multiple half-an-hour installments, you probably could. I don't expect everyone to sit down and watch it in a 4-hour block like I did, but actually, I had a cup of tea at hour 3 because English, and you have to. But like I say, around the halfway point, I started to feel kind of like, oh, this is long, which obviously I knew going in, but at the same time, that was when it started to come together. And like I said, the battle scenes, which are more elaborate versions than the ones we saw in the theatrical cut, they just felt better. They felt like they meant more, and there was more stakes to them, kind of thing. But yeah, I think if you're gonna watch it, you're gonna watch it. I'd recommend giving it a go and going in with an open mind. But yeah, so in a second we're gonna get into spoiler territory. So if you haven't seen it yet, go and watch it. Come back, see if you agree with me. But yeah, spoilers coming up. So, spoiler time. So, watch out if you haven't watched the film yet, or if you're not bothered. So yeah, like I said in my non-spoiler section, I think the biggest thing for me was the fact that everyone had more time, every character had more time. In particular, I like the added detail, like the whole thing of them bringing Superman back to life in the theatrical cut felt a bit kind of rushed and just kind of didn't really make much sense, and the whole thing about Barry having to strike the mother box as it hit the water and stuff didn't really make as much sense, and it gets a bit more of an explanation. There's still a few sort of jumps in kind of logic and that, and you kind of go but not so much. It's not as jarring. I kind of go, there's a certain point in like these kind of movies where I can kind of go, yeah, I'll go with that, it just kind of, it is what it is, kind of thing. I really like the idea, which I don't think they explored in the theatrical cut, where the whole thing with using the mother box to bring Superman back to life will also let the bad guys know where the mother box is, which is the last one that they needed, and they had to weigh up whether it was worth them knowing to bring Superman back because Superman was the only thing keeping them at bay. And I really liked that. That made so much more sense than the theatrical one. I don't think there was anything like that. And again, I've not watched that for a while, so there could have been, but I don't remember that at all. And I liked the through line about Batman's big ship and him trying to get that to work and Cyborg being able to talk to it. And then, because that ship just kind of turned up in the theatrical one as far as I remember, and it wasn't really a big deal. But then it had its own little kind of storyline of Cyborg trying to get it to work. And as I said previously, Steppenwolf, who was the villain in this one, and he still is here obviously, but this was obviously the way it was intended, was Darkseid is the big bad, and it was great to see Darkseid properly, and I thought he looked really good. And part of Apocalypse and the parademons, obviously we've seen a few of them anyway, and like the supporting characters like Tessard and Granny Goodness, which was all completely taken out originally. And I liked how Steppenwolf was on kind of his own mission of redemption, and he was kind of trying to bring himself back up in Darkseid's eyes, and it's like that's much better than him just being the generic villain. And he looked a lot better as well, because I've seen a lot of people say he looked like a PS2 bad guy in the theatrical cut, which he did. It wasn't the best, and he looks a lot better and a lot more spiky in this one as well. And I say the battle scenes were a lot better. Like that scene that's still kind of in the middle of the film where they're kind of underneath Gotham Harbour in the tunnel. That was a lot different, and it just felt better, and it felt like there was more at stake. And the same with the big battle at the end. It just felt like there was just more going on, and because we'd spent longer with each character and longer with each part of the story building up to it, the stakes just felt much more important. Like it was just one of those things. The black suit was cool to see, and we knew that was coming because there was a deleted scene with it which came out a long time ago. The Superman black suit, I should say, and it was. I thought there might be some kind of storyline reason behind it, but there kind of wasn't. He just went to the ship, it showed him a few suits, and he went, I'll take that one, the black one looks cool. And it does. I thought it looked great. I mean, he just kind of turned up in a different suit and it was fine, but I really liked the characterisation of Superman in this as well. I thought when he showed up at the end, as we knew he would because he did in the theatrical one, I thought it was just handled a lot better. And I think he blocked Steppenwolf's axe, and he was just like, not impressed, and then he froze the axe and smashed it. That was pretty cool, and I liked his entry into the theatrical cut. I thought that was a good moment. But yeah, I like that as well. That just worked a lot better for me. But yeah, I thought all those little bits, like Alfred as well. Alfred really, he got more time in this, and I liked him a lot as well. And by the end of it, I was really enjoying it. One other thing, what I really liked was I remember watching the Wonder Woman animated feature. I'm a big Wonder Woman fan. You can see some Funko Pops over there. And the animated feature, this was, over 10 years ago probably. It started and ended with a decapitation. Like at the end of the film, I think Ares was the main villain in that, and she just cuts his head off. And I always thought that was awesome that Wonder Woman would just decapitate a villain. And then at the end of this, when they throw Steppenwolf back through the portal, and then she just comes up with the sword, and I was like, oh my god, yes. And then she just straight decapitates the guy, and then he goes through and his head goes flying through. I thought that was brilliant. Like, I love Wonder Woman as this positive character, but I have no problem with her being, an Amazon warrior and just straight up decapitating a bad guy. Because he had given her all that guff about killing her mum or whatever, which wasn't true. And he was proper putting the Amazonians down, and she was like, right, well, your head's coming off, mate. So I really like that worked really well for me. The epilogue was pretty cool. It was kind of similar to what we'd already seen. It was the end credits scene from the original cut, and it was also the resolution with Bruce Wayne and Clark and that sort of thing. But I really liked Batman's nightmare dream, which made the one from Batman vs Superman make a lot more sense, and the little Joker Batman interaction, and Batman telling him he'll kill him, which I thought was really good. I like that a lot. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good 4 hours worth of entertainment. It made me feel things at certain times. I was going to say I really liked Barry in the Speed Force towards the end when he had to kind of redo everything. Like when Ezra Miller's version of this first popped up earlier, I was like, all these little jokes and stuff, and I was like, he's not the Barry I know and love, but I'll take it. And then when he was doing the whole thing in the Speed Force, and he was the hero kind of thing, I was like, yeah, that's Barry Allen, I'll take that. But yeah, that was cool. But yeah, so like I said, I liked it that everyone got their own little moments, and I just felt like I quite like the idea of there being, like, with these big movies, like these big kind of team up movies, there being like a 2 hour-ish theatrical cut, and then them doing like a 4 hour like nerd cut for people like me, and I just kind of going, this is all the extra bits here and there. I have no problem with the 3-4 hour movies that I can watch at home. That's absolutely fine by me. I like the idea of just getting lost in this other world for a while, like for a good while. It's not just a 90-minute distraction. It's like, right, I'm going to get in, I'm going to get to know these characters, I'm going to spend a lot of time with them. And yeah, but yeah, I say I really liked it. Let me know what you think, if you've got something positive to say, because I've had enough of negative stuff. Just let me know. And if you don't like it, then just don't tell me, or do. I mean, it's a free country, isn't it? But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I know this has been quite a long video, but it's a 4 hour film, so I think I've done quite well to talk about it in 15 minutes. So, but yeah, please leave a like, please subscribe, and I'll see you again next time.